for what they wanted to do.
Let's now talk to Andreea Gruev-Vintila, a professor of social psychology at the University of Paris, Nanterre. Andreea, thank you very much for joining us on BBC News. I know that you've been following this trial yourself, and if you can just tell me what this trial tells us about the issues here within French society and how French society can react to what we've learned.
The Mazan trial highlights the systemic issues of coercive control and marital rape within the context of coercive control. Dominique Pelicot's actions of drugging his wife and manipulating her demonstrates constant, cumulative, non-episodic behaviors that characterize coercive control. In fact, just like in most of other domestic violence cases that I've researched for my book on coercive control, the incident that led to the arrest and then in the end at the Mazan trial took place which you mentioned, it took place in a supermarket. But this incident that led to the arrest and in the end to the Mazan trial took place in the context of many other abusive behavior. In fact, we know from Caroline Darion, who is Gisèle Pelicot's daughter, that Dominique Pelicot, Gisèle's husband and main offender, had taken huge loans in the name of his wife, therefore also using economic violence. And we also know from Caroline Darion's book that Gisèle Pelicot, that the children of Gisèle Pelicot were so worried about their mother's health, about her inexplicable loss of memory, which were related, in fact, to the drugs that she was given. But they were so worried about this loss of memories that they wanted to take her to the neurologist. And when they spoke about this to their father, he actually misled them as well, telling them that their mother's symptoms were due to her stress and insomnia, therefore attacking Gisèle Pelicot's human rights to healthcare. So the case, the Mazan case, exposes the systemic failures in France to understand and to intervene when coercive control is being deployed over periods of years, as it did here.
And absolutely, Andreea. Absolutely. But, talk to me a little bit about how this can be a catalyst for change.
That is the most important question for us in social psychology, because the Mazan case can also be a moment in time. So the most important thing is how this case actually highlights that we have in France 250,000 of women victims of domestic violence, 82% of whom are mothers, just like Gisèle Pelicot, only with younger children. And in the face of such figures, we need to take an approach. We need to first of all, raise awareness about coercive control, but also push for significant legal and societal change, criminalize coercive control, and translate it in our family law so that we don't arrive in such cases anymore. And about the Mazan case, what is important, MPs are working on a coercive control law in France, and in this context, the use of drugs, as it's called in France, chemical submission, the use of drugs in the context of coercive control is, of course, a personalized tactic, just like economic violence can be, or just like misleading her children have been, or preventing the victim from getting proper health care. But I would like to also draw attention to the case of Caroline Darion, who is Gisèle Pelicot's daughter, because she is in a complex case of intergenerational trauma. In fact, she spent 3 days in hospital when she found out that there was a picture of her taken by her father sleeping in her bed in someone else's underwear that she didn't remember about. And Caroline's case actually illustrates the failures in recognizing coercive control and addressing it properly. And the fact that she feels forgotten from this trial underscores the need for a more comprehensive approach to supporting all the victims of coercive control. Of course, the main victim in this case is Gisèle Pelicot, but her 3 children are joint victims as well. And Caroline's experience is a very clear illustration of how far-reaching the consequences of coercive control are in the family. So we do need to use this case to go beyond a moment in time and make it a moment of awareness about coercive control and to push for significant legal and societal change.
Andreea, it's been really good to talk to you. I thank you once again for taking the time to speak to us. Thank you once more.
Thank
and
you
as we
very
stand
much.
outside the Palais de Justice, thank you, Andreea, we are awaiting, as I mentioned there, the verdict in this trial. And as I said earlier, as we watch pictures of Caroline walking into the trial, that is, of course, the daughter, and those are her brothers. That's the daughter and the family of Gisèle Pelicot. So, as you can see here, the family entered a little bit earlier in to the court, and Caroline was also cheered. Caroline, as Andreea mentioned there, was also implicated or involved in this case, as Andreea mentioned. And I just want to stop for a second and just